let me first of all want to kind of thank you to the keynote speaker, Dr. Bhagwan, and of course to our distinguished panelists. I'm sure all of you had taken a note of it. I will try to just join the dots what we spoke on during our keynote speak, where I'm sure you would have seen that collaboration, interactive collaboration is the one where the education is heading towards it. And during this panel discussion also you would have heard a lot of challenges, a lot of solutions, how we're going to really meet that. Quickly we say, right, learning happens everywhere, and every place is a learning space. If you look at in the real sense, is a university is really driving a digital innovation, because you have student, faculty, staff, all they come to your university, they are the customer first and they come to your university with the latest and the greatest technologies, right? You being an university, you need to accommodate them. And it is really not easy, I understand fully that. It's really challenging. And we have seen a lot of universities, they do a lot of activities in the disjointed effort. What today our objective is to talk about and bring a platform which can all the disjointed and disparate initiative can be onboarded on the single platform and can provide a solution to this your student, right, and staff. VMware have been working with this lot of world-class universities, private university, government universities, and helping them to transform that entire education that really helps improve your teaching and learning mechanism. Quickly, just I'm sure during this session also you have heard, I quickly just put together the 5 case studies before I get into the solution piece of it. The objective was putting these 5 case studies to help you understand this technology is not only meant for the bigger universities so-called, which having a 40,000 student and 50,000 student and so on and so forth. The technology is really there to help a university as smaller than the 1,000 and 5,000 and 8,000. If you look at the first case study, which is an NC State universities, California-based universities, having a 40,000 plus student. What they were challenges and what they wanted to resolve the problem with the student, because all their students were carrying multiple devices. And for universities it was becoming quite difficult to deliver all their educational resources to this student. What really they wanted end to derive a one digital workspace solution, irrespective of the device the student is coming out, they are able to access and securely able to access. Look at this other side of universities. They were having a challenge on the high performance computing. It is really costly affair to buy for a university. Is there any mechanism where I can share this high performance computing infrastructure to the various departments? Typically what today university is landing up, for every department you are buying this entire HPC cluster. Is there any mechanism where I can build the central HPC cluster and can be shared across? That's possible. If you look at this Indian case study, a lot of Karnia universities is around 8,000 plus students. What this objective was, again they were struggling with this lot of desktop. One of those panelists spoke about, right? Every 3 years, 5 years, they had a challenges becoming investing, so on and so forth. They brought a solution which is called anywhere, any device access, and that also helps to reduce their entire TCO piece of it, right? So these are some of the case study. While I am going through, I will talk about the solution which typically is being adopted by these universities. Quickly, I think you would have heard during this session, when you look at the challenges piece, what management of this university or the IT department of the university has a challenges versus the student has a challenges. Today, the university has a challenge. The escalating cost of this hardware and the management is really tough. Security is the challenge, because we keep saying, right? I remember one of the session where the similar session we were conducting. One of the professors said, "Innovation is not happens in the classroom. Innovations happens in the hostel where the students are. Innovations are the good innovations. Innovations are the bad innovations. I need a solution which allow the good innovation to happen. I need a solution which allow bad innovation to be stopped." And the security has become a real pain for this university to be addressed. If you look at the side of the student, is the user experience. They wanted to experience the way they are using your Facebook, Google, and so on and so forth. Can university build a platform to deliver the similar kind of experience? Second piece is a limited access of the resources. Today, what students are typically is limited. They're going to be available in the lab or in the classroom 9 to 6 and so on and so forth to access their lab. their minds really woke up one this early morning. Are they going to come to your university campus to access that? Is there a mechanism where I can allow anytime, anywhere access any of the resources which they want to do, so that they can be more productive of it? If I again really put together all the problem a while back on the slide, I put together three things. It comes out to be from the business outcome perspective, right? The first thing, what is really comes is all about the grow revenue, drive efficiency, reduce cost and complexity. I'm sure all you would agree, this is what universities expect to do, right? Attract the student and really drive a new learning model. And the last but not the least, is just safeguarding of this information. Because we have a lot of research work is going on. How we want to ensure that those research data is being safeguarded. If really wanted to achieve these three business outcomes, VMware recommends to adopt three strategic priorities. What are those strategic priorities? Is all about modernizing your data center. We needed to modernize our data center. Second piece of build a digital workspace environment, right? Digital workspace environment, a while back I mentioned, that allows your student staff to access all educational resources anywhere, anytime. And the third portion is all about transforming the security, because security has to transform. When we are building a digital workspace, trust me, if you look at the lens, you are increasing a risk, because you are allowing the access of your resources with the millions of devices. That means we are putting ourselves onto risk. What it means, I'm going to stop my digital innovation? No. What really we needed to do that? We needed to look at that security from a different angle. The security which you have been putting into the data center, that has to go beyond the data center. Security has to be pushed across each and every devices where the student is coming in. So security has to be transformed, right? Quickly, when we are talking about this modernizing a data center, is all about what we call it. Call it as a scale on demand. If you look at this, university is becoming more of a service provider, because they have any number of departments to be coming every here and there in the request. Can university become a service provider to serve their entire university, or go beyond it? Apart from university, they can go and serve their services to this community and so on and so forth. And it is important to doing that. We needed to modernize our data center so that you are able to provision your services faster. You are able to manage app life cycle better way. It's not only about the provisioning, it's all about the decommissioning as well, so that you can remove the services as and when the services are absolute not required in your data center. If you look at this lower bubble, I'm sure you will agree that most of this university is there, right? They will be having this infrastructure in their university. You will have a remote lab infrastructure, you will have HPC infrastructure, you will have an application, right? Whether it is an SIS-based application, which is called the Student Information System, or any kind of this application through which you are managing your universities. Right? These applications will continue to happen and will continue to grow in your university. What the global data says, 83% time university is spending to managing this infrastructure. Think of, if your university is spending 83% time managing this infrastructure, do you have a time to do innovation? Possibly answer is no. What really we needed to do? We needed to really bring that efficiency in the data center, so this time goes down and your staff really focusing on this innovation piece of it. What really we need to do that? Then question comes, what really I will have to adopt that really these pains goes away, what a while back we talked about, right? First and foremost, we needed to really simplify the hardware in the data center. When I'm saying this, simplify the hardware in the data center, what it means, we needed to adopt a hyper-converged infrastructure. I'm sure all of you will be aware of this hyper-converged infrastructure is all about virtualizing compute and storage together and having a common platform. What really it means net-net, you don't require a separate storage to be managed and built in. You have a compute. Within that compute, you have a hard disk available. That hard disk, all hard disk can be pulled together and become as a storage. You don't really require a separate storage. That makes it easy for a data center to manage that. This single pane of glass. That's called simplify your hardware. Second approach, what really you need to do for your data center is simplify the software. What really means simplify the software is taking a software-defined approach. What it means, virtualizing not only compute, you needed to virtualize storage, you needed to virtualize network. What net? Virtualizing my entire digital infrastructure. Now what really is going to help you? Again, is a faster provisioning of the any services. Faster managing of any services. Entire life cycle can be managed with a click of the button. It's not only provisioning, it can go up to provisioning, monitoring, and then it can go up to the level of this decommissioning. You can have a single click, then you define that what is the time frame that it requires these services to be live running on. Post this particular time frame, the services should be go off. If you feed that information, click on the single click, all things have been taken care of. Third piece, monitoring and automation, right? You need to have a system which really does a proactive monitoring rather than the reactive. When the services goes down, anyway, somebody is going to look into that. Is there a mechanism where I can do this proactive monitoring? Before the services goes down, my IT should be aware that the services life cycle or the services is about to die, so that I can go and rectify that. The student productivity, staff productivity goes up. Third piece we talk about, right? And very important, to build a bridge to the cloud. Because all we know, by mean of a various public cloud available in the country or in the world, there is a lot of things which makes our life easy. Is there a better way to build an infrastructure which can not only serve the public cloud? I have a hybrid cloud model where as and when requirement comes in, I should be able to scale and put my own workload to this public cloud. Quickly, the question comes in from this university side, right? Typically, I have seen that putting all these questions. If I'm going to do all these modernizing my data center, what net I'm going to achieve? These are the outcome which you're going to achieve. What it's got is a 20% increase. That means you increase your productivity, IT productivity, right? Is a lesser TCO. You reduce your capex and the opex investment. And the foremost is remember that it really helps you to be faster provisioning on any of the services, which is 95%. Right? So these are the certain outcome you get when you modernize your data center. Quickly coming back on the emerging workload, every university has an HPC workload, right? Three sections to talk about. What VMware is committed to provide a platform which is intelligent. That platform is not only taking care of your traditional workload, which is a client-server workload. The VMware solution or VMware stack platform that helps you to take care of your entire emerging workload. Now, when I'm saying the emerging workload, typically three kind of workload comes into this picture, right? Whether it is in big data, machine learning, and the HPC. All we know about the big data, I don't really need to go through the definitions because I'm sitting in front of this profession, you guys know better than me. But net big data is all about the large amount of unstructured data, which really gives a lot of insight and a lot of various analytics purpose. When you're thinking about the big data, it's the three characteristics we talk about, right? Velocity, variety, high volume. And that what really needs a cost-effective solution that really processes this information in the faster way and gives you the right insight for the analytic purpose that helps you to do the right decision making, right? If you look at the other hand side of HPC, is all about the technical compute intensive applications and typically is being used in engineering, research, and so on and so forth, right? And these kind of workload are typically distributed across the large number of computers and being managed by the some of the batch scheduler or any distributed management framework. And typically they use a hardware accelerator to improve the performance of those applications. I'm going to go through it. If you look at that in between, machine learning is the intersection between this big data and HPC. The reason being, because these sets of applications, they really have increased their footprint. What it means, they also do some sort of machine learning capability as well. And that's where the machine learning comes into this intersection. Because it has a characteristic of all the big data and they need all the capability of the HPC. This machine learning application. If you look at that, machine learning applications is a TensorFlow, is being heavily used by the Google. Cafe 2 and Torch is heavily being used by the Facebook. Whatever you do on the Facebook, lot of, I'm sure you would realize that when you put something on the Facebook or on the Google, they really understand that what really you needed to do, and which is all possible because the machine learning concept. And these are these applications really go and help. The question comes for this university, can you virtualize all these sets of applications which is an emerging load, and how are you going to share between them? If you look at that from the infrastructure side, if you really needed to use, these are sets of this infrastructure and tools. Hardware is being used by this application, what I spoke about, right? Whether it is FPGA, which is typically is called a field programmable gate array, is typically shipped to this customer, and they do the programming on the chipset. What the chipset wanted to do is not pre-built. It is being shipped, and then the customer or the designer, they do all the programming. Rocky is RDMA over the converse Ethernet, right? So these are some of this. InfiniBand is a high latency, high bandwidth and low latency. These are some of this hardware that really accelerate the work of HPC. If you further look at, we think of why really I needed to virtualize that HPC, what value I'm going to get. Quickly just put the perspective. I'm sure this color is visible, and you could see this bottom layer is a hardware layer. Virtualization layer, you can see the screen. And then of course you see the different sets of VM. What it means is a different sets of operating system running on, right? And then you have a different research group. If you say the state is a different research group. What really, if you're going to virtualize this HPC, what you will get net heterogeneity and the multi-tenancy data security. So the same HPC cluster, you can run a different group of the research. Each group may have a different sets of an operating system, but the hardware is the common. Right? This is the great benefit when you virtualize that. What the second benefit we're going to get? Fault resiliencies. If any host down, if any of the blue host down, this application workload is not going to be impacted. It is going to move to this available host. And similarly, you have a load balancing. If the load increases, if you wanted to move that load to a different host, so and so forth, that is quite easy possible. Third portion, in case of this HPC, we keep reproducing it, right? At times it happens that one research group is working fine. You want to really replicate, copy and paste for this another research group. Reproduce it. That is quite easy possible. What architecture you going to look like? This is the architecture, right? You're going to have a physical host. Each host will have a two kind of connectivity. One connectivity is more for an Ethernet, more for management purpose. Another connectivity is more for an InfiniBand connectivity, what we call it, right? Where all this traffic is high volume traffic is moving on. That's where this high level of architecture, what we can think of when we are thinking about this HPC. Quickly, another use case, slightly technical, but bear with me, I'll try my best to explain you. We have a two physical hosts. Each physical host, there is a GPU installed and so forth to be available to the worker node. This is the one of this architecture for the university to follow. Second architecture could be, university might have the old hardware that do not have GPU itself available. Only the compute is available. Given attention to this, if you really want to understand that what architecture, how is going to help you guys. Sorry, one host, old host, only you have a very good amount of compute available. But somehow, you don't have a GPU available on this particular host. Other host, high RAM, CPU, and the GPUs are also available. What really this architecture can help together, all put together you can create a GPU controller virtual machine. And this virtual machine, using the RDMA technology, a while back I spoke about, can map to the virtual machine which is sitting on the host. They don't have GPU and they will have the similar experience. Right? Fantastic use case to be used in the university that really helps to save a lot of cost for. Net quickly, what really HPC helps brings a value to you is all about infrastructure agility, is all about saving a cost, right, and reduce the complexity. It also at the net is also increase your security portion of it. How is going to increase the security portion of it? This is what this architecture we recommend, a full architecture what we recommend for a university to follow. Not only you're going to virtualize that, which is a green level of, over the virtualization there is a technology which is called the NSX that helps you all to secure your HPC cluster so that one researcher group does not make any federate or do any of the harm to other researcher group, or within that one researcher group, one worker, one student is not going to disturb the work of the other student.
That's the NSX piece does. On top of it, what we call it is an automation piece of it. So, automation, how is going to help? The request is going to come. No IT person needed to manage that entire your HPC cluster. The moment the request is going to come, that possibly can go to some approver. The moment approver say yes, automatically this entire HPC cluster is being built, provisioned, notification sent to the requester. This is where you can reach to that. Right? Quickly coming back on the next topic, which is a digital workspace. All we know that struggling today, any universities is struggling that how I going to make my educational resources to be available to my student, staff, faculty, so that they can access from anywhere, anytime access, right, from any device in fact per se. Three challenges, I'm sure during the discussion if you could remember that, three things to be managed. If really you wanted to virtualize your entire digital workspace you wanted to give to your student, what three things to be managed? Identity of the student. Second things, we needed to really manage that GPU, which is called the virtual desktop. And third piece, what we needed to manage, BOID is the initiative. That means every devices. If all together, put together, all three things are being managed, then what really you empower your university, or allow your university to bring your own device. You can let your student to know, bring your own devices, whether mobile, whether laptop, any damn sort of it. And you, since you are managing an identity, you would be able to allow your student what they are expected to access, which applications they are expected to access, from which locations they are expected to access, and so on and so forth. That can be easily managed. So what really it results into? It results into you allow the student to access the remote lab from anywhere, any devices. Quickly moving into the solutioning piece of it. Solutioning piece of it, if really needed to build this infrastructure, the digital workspace infrastructure, these are the four components that has to be think through it. What component? From the VMware solutioning standpoint of it, the first component is called Horizon. What Horizon helps you to do? A better desktop management, a better experience for your student. They should be able to access your information from anywhere, any devices. That's the third portion of it, right? Second portion, what really you needed to think about, a SAN, storage. You don't have to really buy that storage. While buying that compute, on that same compute, you can enable a virtual SAN, virtual storage, what is called. So you are extending your virtualization capability from a compute to a storage, right? That's a virtual SAN. It's a software that really does a magic to work as a storage. It's a piece of software that sits on your host itself. Right? Third portion is all about NSX. What NSX does? In the networking, all we know, switching, routing, firewalling, so and so forth, VPN, so and so forth, right? For that, we have a hardware. NSX, what really does, it brings all the hardware capability in the software form. What really means net, you need a dumb hardware on your university just to plug that cable. You don't have to buy the fancy and expensive switches or the router, because all those capability is brought into the form of the software. That's NSX does. I'm going to explain quickly. Third portion is VDOS, is all about the management. When you think about a VDI, think about a university NC State is a 40,000 instance running. When you are running a 40,000 instance, one of the students is struggling because their VDI is not responding the way it was supposed to be. It will become a nightmare to figure out which VDI, which host it is running on, what problem it is causing, which process this particular student is using and that is causing the problem. It becomes a nightmare, right? And this particular software helps you to do that troubleshooting part of it. And also increase the efficiency, experience of this user. These are the four kind of pillars quickly. Again, I'm going back one by one. I said Horizon is the one which really helps you to really increase the experience of the user. In the beginning, if you could recall, I mentioned what student today is struggling. Their pain point is in user experience. They don't find that experience what I have with the Facebook of the world, the Google of the world, my university is giving me. This software is going to give you the similar kind of experience for your student or for your staff per se, right? Second piece, what you could also you could do a high 3D application, right? A lot of the students, they really needed a high graphic intensive applications. That is possible with that. You can virtualize and students should be able to go and use those. Context aware, what it means, you have all the functionality and control what the student is supposed to access and what not. That solution helps you to achieve that. Second piece, a while back I said virtual SAN. Virtual SAN is what it is, a software defined storage which really aggregate all the hard disk which is across a different host and bring together the pool as a storage for your software. So for your software and student, it is more of a storage. But what really it is doing, it is aggregating all the hard disk, whether it is magnetic tape, whether it is SSD, and so on and so forth. I'm quickly coming on the VROPS piece of it. What universities typically, I see these 4 challenges they keep talking about. Excellent deployment. When you have a large number of students, you wanted to ensure that when the student is onboarding on the first day of your campus, their machine is ready. The moment he steps into the counter, there is a button is being clicked, machine is being spun for the student, and he is ready to access it. Excellent deployment, right? Second piece, what we always keep talking about, ensure optimal end user experience. So the experience doesn't die. What they needed to access, they have been given the resources to access those stuff, right? Proactive alert and optimized view of infrastructure. Proactive alert, a while back I was talking about, the day has gone when you do the reactive troubleshooting. When the things goes down, anyway there is a productivity loss for the student. You're going to go and correct it, but the productivity has gone. Is there a mechanism where I can do this proactive? So that their at least downtime can be avoided, their productivity can be increased? Answer is yes. Optimized view of infrastructure, what really it means, is all about doing the capacity management. Every year you are going to onboard the new sets of the student. Do you have a capacity to run that? Or you really falling a sort of capacity? This entire optimized view of infrastructure, this particular platform or the software that gives you, empowers you. You don't have to do any capacity management. A single button can help you to understand, is my current infrastructure is able to take a load of the next set of software or next set of student which is onboarding in my universities. Right? Quickly, a while back I have already covered, this is more of a reactive approach. This is more of a proactive approach. What reactive approaches does, when anything goes wrong, it is all about managing this risk level, right? If anything goes wrong, I should be able to isolate, I should be able to fix and automate it. How about this doing a proactive, where you plan the things, where you forecast the things, what is expected to come your infrastructure, and then you optimize, because there will be a lot of virtual machine which is lying your infrastructure, nobody is using that. Can I go ahead and delete those virtual machines? Can I go ahead and reclaim my entire capacity? That's the way, right? And third, what you do is automate that entire life cycle. So you don't have somebody's every day, every week, every month go and doing the same stuff. There is entire activities can be automated and report can be sent out so that management is aware that how much I am going to reclaim that capacity from my existing infrastructure. This is net a big saving for you. Quickly coming back, I was referring a while back, imagine a 50,000 student. One student says, boss, my virtual machine is running slow. It becomes nightmare to understand. What this software is going to do that, you can go and type the student name who is using your infrastructure. This is going to bring back to this architecture where the student is using a specific infrastructure. And from the point number 2, you can go and drill down what all processes that the student is running. That helps you to understand why this particular virtual machine is slow. Either the process is getting too much of data, either the student is sitting on a host which is not expected he to ship, and so on and so forth, right? So this level of troubleshooting and insight you can have with this software. Net, what value for a business? I'm sure there's a lot of numbers to read about it. I will let you to read, but 3 things. If you look at 30% in hardware saving, if you look at 30% total cost saving, 60% improving end user experience. One particular software can improve a 60% of user experience. One particular software can help you to save 30% of money on your hardware. That's again this high level of architecture view. I'm not going to go in detail, but net, if you look at this, the bigger side is a green side, is a horizon client. What really it means is student can have a choice of a hardware, what he wanted to use. With the help of the choice of the hardware, he can land on to your data center, which will be having a firewall. Once he lands on the data center, again there is a lot of component that ensures what level of student is required to access. And accordingly, students are being pulled together and pushed together to this set of infrastructure. Whether he needs a Windows 10 machine, Linux machine, and so on and so forth, or hosted machine application, so on and so forth. Right? Separately, you are managing a user environment separate. So next time when the user logs in, he has the same experience. What is all about? A consistent experience, right? Then the rest of this infrastructure services will continue to happen in your data center. Last piece quickly, transforming security. Transforming security, what really it means? You have a lot of pod running in your data center. How you going to student? How you going to ensure that year one student, their desktop is not able to talk to the senior desktops? Or on the same infrastructure, a staff desktop is also lying in it. How you going to ensure that a student is not able to go and access my staff desktop? That this solution helps you to protect that. So desktop to desktop control you can have. Typically here what really you get firewall against of every desktop. Literally here we are. You get firewall against of every desktop. It can't be much better than this solution, right? Typically we have a firewall sitting onto the edge of this your entire data center, and that firewall is taking care of it. This NSX is one of the product from the VMware that helps you to achieve that. You can do the all agentless scanning. Today you will be struggling because every day there is a patch, there is a machine has to be scanned. Because your agent is not working and you are struggling with that. This solution can do an agentless scanning. Similarly, you have a load balancing capacity, NAT, VPN, what should not you think of in a network side of it. All this capabilities bring together, I mentioned, onto the software form, and that you can leverage it. Right? Network virtualization also helps you to spin down and spin up pods very quickly, because all the services are available in the form of the software. When the services are available in the form of the software, it can scale up, scale down quite quickly. Quickly, this is the model architecture again. We always encourage to adopt that. If you look at the fundamental, starting from any cloud, any application, any device, what it means, you allow your student, staff, faculty to use any devices to access any application, whether those application is university on-prem application or is being hosted onto the cloud. The single architecture is going to do, right? Now, the bottom layer is any cloud. What really means, you are building infrastructure at your data center, and this infrastructure can also integrate with this public cloud. So for net and any cloud, what VMware has to offer you? Freedom and choice. When you adopt the VMware technologies, you have a choice to choose a hardware on the compute layer. You have a choice to choose a hardware on the compute layer, whether you use Dell, HP, IBM, so on and so forth, right? You can choose any hardware. Just put virtualization layer. You are not locking down yourself to the one particular vendor. This is what the freedom is giving you, right? Similarly, that freedom is being extended on storage, network. You can buy server from any vendor, and that server itself can become as a storage. You don't have to buy the monolithic storage. Third piece is a network piece. Network is again being abstracted. You are not only bound to buy, for example, Cisco, or for example, HP network device, or Fortinet network device, right? You have a choice, because all the capability you are bringing into the form of the software. So what it is offering you in your data center is the freedom and choice. Similarly, that is being extended to the public cloud. I'm sure most of you will be aware that VMware has announced the partnership with this AWS, where you can run the entire VMware stack on the AWS side or IBM software side. So you have a choice to choose which public cloud you wanted to integrate. Again, you don't have a vendor locking in. Next portion of what we are putting on top of it, you can have a VMware layer which can manage both the infrastructure, your on-prem infrastructure and the public cloud infrastructure. And it can also automate both this infrastructure. So somebody is requesting for a virtual machine, you as an university has all the way right and control governance where this particular virtual machine should go and provision. It should go on a private cloud, or it should go on a public cloud, or it should go on a different cloud altogether. You have entire control with this university itself. This particular layer is going to address. Second layer, application layer which comes. You have an option where you wanted to host those an application on on-prem, on the public cloud. And the last, you deliver all these applications to this student on any device, whether they are coming from Android, they are coming from Apple, laptop, so and so forth. Quickly, a question comes always, what is it for me? What really means, what this solution is going to bring for a student? A lot of benefit, not going to go through one by one, but net, what the student is going to have a digital backpack. They should be able to access all your educational resources from anywhere, any devices. They are not restricted to a time when they needed to access a lab. They can access a lab from anywhere, anywhere. Right? Third portion, we'll cover onto the last portion, which is all about the VMware course certifications. But rest of the benefit the student is going to get, right? What it comes to, what is it for university? What university is going to get? This is the little benefit this university is going to get. What is? They're going to do a great amount of saving. They're going to have the latest and greatest technologies in the universities, so that the students are productive, their staffs are productive, the students are attracted to onboard your universities. Right? These are the something which this university is going to get out of it. Quickly, these are some of the top academy. If you look at this list, is not this entire list, but some of this company which comes on top of mine. It is just a list of university which has adopted this entire end-to-end VMware solution. Moving on, last piece, which is the Center of Excellence. It's a great topic. Center of Excellence, what net objective of the Center of Excellence is, empower your student to be job ready. During the panel discussion, during that guest keynote session, you heard it. It's just teaching the courses curriculum is a grade. That is stepping stone, foundation stone. But what really today's need is all about making the student to be job ready, and that is possible with the concept we go with this Center of Excellence. Right? What is VMware is this the latest and the greatest in the virtualization and cloud. And what the student going to get benefit if they're going to get certified, a lot of benefit is a recognition from the VMware, right? Is a great opportunity for the career development. These are the certain benefits the student is going to get. What this program, how this program runs, I'm going to take you through. These are some of this learning path. If you could look at, this left-hand side, these are the technology track from the VMware. There is a 4 technology track from the VMware which runs, which is a data center virtualization, network virtualization, desktop and mobility, and cloud management and automation. These are the 4 technology track, and each technology track has a different level of certification, which starts from BCA, which is more of a solution experts, which is more for students, right? Which typically applicable for all the CS student could be. Then what it goes to this advanced certification, which is called the VCP. When the student thinks that I needed to build my career towards, for example, data center virtualization, or towards a cloud, or towards a desktop and mobility, then that certification ladder has to move. Then it goes to the VCAP, and then it goes to VCDX. In the worldwide, there is a very few VCDX. So very is not only is about from the depth side of it, technology side of it, is also the very length side of it. Quickly, Center of Excellence program, what we run, how it really runs, I'm going to walk you through just quickly portion of it. If you look at the 3 collaboration, it happens in the Center of Excellence field. VMware Education comes into the picture, who does the tie-up with this university. Second piece is a university itself. There is a lot of role for the university to do. And third portion is a VMware partner. If you look at the green portion, will be delivered by the VMware. Will be delivered by the VMware, which typically train the trainer, learning kit and certifications. Right? If you look at that circle piece of it, which is typically is being delivered by the VMware partner. What could happen when you do the joint engagement with the VMware? University may decide that this particular technology course needs to be delivered by university itself, or university need a partner to deliver that. If you need a partner to deliver that, then academic program will be supported by the partner. This portion, if you look at, this is all about university has to do. What it means is a technology center. You need to build a technology center. What it means in terms of spending the money on the hardware side of it, infrastructure support and COE learning piece of it. Right? These are the three pillars that has to work together to build a center of excellence within your university. What really it means is for you is a COE on site. Right? Second portion is from the VMware side of it. What is VMware is going to support you on that? Sorry if it is taking time, but COE at a university campus, collaboration with the student in upcoming schedule for a trainer, nomination for the training, and so on and so forth. So there is a set of activities which the university does, there is a set of activities that is being done by the VMware, right? Whether it is enabling train the trainer center, or whether in terms of taking an examination and certification, all will be taken care by this VMware. What it is all about the global edge. Your students get some certification from the VMware. That's a global certifications and approved by the VMware, authorized by the VMware. Last piece, again coming back, when you buy the technology, it is important that the professional needs to be on field. And the great opportunity that we have tons of professionals available in the market to support your entire vision of it. So you can go, go and hedge on with this partner, which is available across this India to support you in the professional piece. Again, is in quick in terms of industries, what really panelists and other Gartner foresters talk about. These are the chart typically needed for the people those really believe on these ratings, whether it's Gartner, Forrester, and IDC. If you look at VMware is being ranked number one, not only from the server virtualization phase, it goes to this digital workspace phase, it goes to the storage virtualization phase, it goes to the network virtualization phase. All these technology VMware is being ranked. Thank you so much for listening to me patiently. I am here. Feel free to reach out to me. I know it was quite intensive technical discussion, but feel free to have me. I'll be here and we'll be happy to take your any question if it is.